So let's just go through these three things. So as soon as I look to see what they were again. So weakness, remember this because I'm going to forget. Weakness, nothingness, and poverty. So weakness. Weakness is, in fact, the ultimate strength. But you have to be a Taoist to know what I'm talking about. So, the Tao, which is also the mother, Tao is Lao Tzu, and the Tao Te Ching calls her the mother. In the Chinese translation, I don't know if anyone's read the Chinese translation of the Gospel according to John. John's prologue after, in the beginning. So it says, Dong Ting Dao Guan. I don't speak Chinese. I have no idea what it says in Chinese, except where it gets to the word word. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. And they translate the word word as Tao. Because the Chinese get it. In the beginning was the Tao. And the Tao was with God. Just the way Sophia Chachma was with Yud-Heh Vav-Heh in the beginning. The Tao was with God, and the Tao is God. She is the formless. Her relationship to the formless is the relationship of slithering to a snake. The relationship of glittering to a diamond. She is the way God gods. Not plural, but it's a verb. She is the way of godding. So the first glory that we get is weakness. But weakness is actually ultimate strength. So here's what I have in mind. I won't demo this for you, but there's a practice in Taoism called push hands in English, where you are pushing against another person. Or if anyone studied Aikido, it's the same principle. And you're pushing against another person. In something like karate, which is very masculine, not just men, but this masculine thing where it's all about strength, and you block what the other person does, and you punch the other person, and you punch them again, and you kick them, and all this kind of stuff. In Aikido, or this notion of push hands, the person who wins is the person who yields. Because the person who's attacking you is coming at you, and you simply dance with them. Oh, you want to go this way? Let me get out of your way. And you just add your force to their already off-balance force, and they go down. And you're just fine. You're not even sweating, which is why it's an exercise I like. So it's this yielding. Jesus tells you the same thing when Jesus tells you to turn the other cheek. Because before Jesus tells you to turn the other cheek, he tells you which cheek he's talking about. So 2,000 years ago, assuming Jesus said any of these things, I always assume Jesus said what they say he said in the red letter Bible. Because it's in red. I'm easily convinced. Oh, it's in red. It must be true, because otherwise, why put it in red? So Jesus says, if they, and by they, Jesus means the Romans, if they strike you on the right cheek, turn the other cheek also. So when I taught Bible in the university, which I did for 10 years, and we would come to this passage, and I would ask my students, who are sophomores and juniors, so what does this mean? And they said, well, if somebody hurts you, don't get mad, and just, turn the other cheek. Just forget about it. Just go about your day and try not to take it, get upset. That's not what Jesus said. That's not what Jesus said at all. Why remember that Jesus said, turn if they strike you on the right cheek? You ever play telephone? If we started, over here, and I said something to Randy, and then to Eugene, and we passed it around, by the time it got over here to Randy, it wouldn't sound anything like what Eugene said. 2,000 years of playing telephone, or, once it's written down maybe, but really 2,000 years of playing telephone, and we still remember he said the right cheek. That must be important. And it is. According to Walter Wink, great New Testament scholar, he says that in Roman times, and you can look this up if you happen to have Barclay's Roman Law of Occupation, at home. You can look it up, and it says that Roman guards, Roman centurions, Roman soldiers are legally free to come over to any Jew and smack them just because you feel like it, right? Romans are obsessive about right and left-handedness. Left-handed is bad, and we've inherited that. I don't know if that's still true today, but when my dad lived to be 89, died a couple years ago, so when he was in school, elementary school, so figure that back out in the 30s or something, he was born left-handed. They tortured him to make him stop being left-handed, because left-handedness was of the devil. It's just bad. So the Romans had that obsession. So it's right-handedness, that's what matters. And they wear their swords on their left hip, and that's, they draw their swords with the right hand. So it says, you can just walk over to any Jew and smack them on the left cheek. Right cheek if you do it open-handed. But if you do it open-handed, that's a sign of equality. So what you have to do to strike someone on the right cheek, if you're right-handed, is to backhand them, right? So you have to go and smack them with the back of your hand. Because if you smack them open-handed, well, first of all, it's hard to do if you're hitting them on the right cheek. Jesus says, turn the other cheek, which means give them your left cheek. That's an open-handed slap, but that's a slap among equals. Jesus is yielding and winning the culture war at the same time. You follow that? He's saying, go ahead, hit me. But now you have to hit me. You can hit me as an animal because you have all the power. I'm just going to stand up because now hit me on the other cheek. I dare you. And they can't because it elevates their status. The same thing when it says go the extra mile. We think it's just like doing a good deed. That's not what it's about. Roman occupation law says that a Roman soldier can grab any Jew off the street, male or female, give that person his backpack, about 50 pounds of stuff, and carry it for the soldier for 1 mile. They had limits. 1 mile. At the end of 1 mile, you have to take your backpack back, pull some other Jew, and give it to him. That's why when you see Jesus walking down the Via Dolorosa and he keeps falling down, the soldiers just grab some guy named Simon to carry the cross. Right? You know that story? Yeah? Because that's the law. Because you carry it. Jesus says, if they make you go 1 mile, go the extra mile. That breaks the law. You're saying to the Roman says, give me my backpack back. And you go, nah, it's fine, I got it. I'm going that way anyway, even if you were going that. I'll just take it for another mile. And the guy says, no, I need my backpack back. Because otherwise, it's an act of friendship. And so you have some street theater going on with the big Roman soldier with the sword saying to you, give me my backpack back. And you just go, no, look, it's fine. And people are coming around. What's the problem here? He won't give me my backpack back. She's taking it for another mile. It looks bad if you're a Roman soldier. So he's got a bunch of these things, Jesus does, that is all about yielding as a way of empowering justice without violence. Jesus is the physical, masculine incarnation of Sophia. So he's bringing that into the masculine world. Of course, the problem is Jesus was never Jesus meek and mild, right? But he becomes Jesus the ultimate warrior, right? I mean, now by the time you get to the book of Revelation, he's coming back on a horse, and he's got a tongue of fire and swords, and he's going to slaughter everybody, because that's the Jesus we guys want. Turn the other cheek, especially if you don't know what it's about. Nah, I'm not going to do that. So Jesus becomes a warrior. You get the Holy Roman Empire and all these Christian armies. That's why when I forget who it was, somebody asked, or maybe a newspaper reporter asked Gandhi what he thought about Christianity. He said, it's a good idea, someone should try it. So this yielding is not a giving up of power. It's just a way of engaging the world. This weakness is a way of engaging the world in a different way.